Well, good morning, everybody. It's Barb Katie here, and it's another excellent Monday for us to spend a little bit of time together. I was thinking over the weekend about ways people misunderstand each other and how we can increase our ability to communicate clearly. And this all arose from a email that no, it wasn't an email, it was a text that my family had exchanged and had been misinterpreted by different ones of us. We were in a group text situation, and I don't know about you, but my family tends to text a lot, and it has good functions, it has bad functions, it has limitations, it has advantages like most every other tool that we use to stay in touch with each other. And as I contemplated the misunderstanding that arose from this text message, it made me really think of the different ways that we communicate with each other. Of course, we write, whether it be text, email, letters, whatever, even writing an article for Tops News or for something else. And the written word is the written word, and it's subject to interpretation. And that interpretation by the reader can vary dramatically based on the reader's involvement, personal experience, sensitivity, uh, word usage, word phraseology, so many different things can impact the way that neutral written word on that sheet of paper gets communicated to everyone. And each of us brings to whatever we're reading a certain background, a certain framework within which the communication happens. And that led me to think, okay, so you've got the written word. What else do you have? You have the spoken word. And the spoken word is better because you can hear the person and what the person is saying, what they sound like. What is the pitch of their voice? Is their voice clear and crisp? Does it have an edge on it? I mean, you can hear different things. Okay, so, and I'm thinking of phone calls there a lot. Of times, but that's subject to misinterpretation too. And then you have a situation where you can both see and hear what is being said. That could be face-to-face communications where you're sitting down at the kitchen table having a conversation. It could be Zooming a call with, friends, family, associates, whatever. And that has the ability of looking at even more data input on how to interpret what is being said. Communication non-verbally can be often more important than the actual words that we say. I think we all know the expression body language. I sort of think about a clown who doesn't say anything during a routine, like Marcel Marceau, for example. Or if you're old enough to remember Red Skelton, he did a lot of mime sequences where he never talked. So did Carol Burnett. Uh, and yet the message was very clear by the body language. You can understand a wide range of human emotions by simply following the expressions and the gestures of the person who is presenting the message. A clown can portray sadness or happiness by moving their face up or down. An illusionist is also a magician, is really great at misdirecting what your eyes are perceiving and sending a different message. That's the way magicians do astounding tricks. They divert attention. Their body language helps you misinterpret what is actually right in front of your eyes. So, there are many different ways of communicating, and I noticed this really intensely during COVID, when that intimate personal communication that involved hearing, seeing, written words sometimes, even situational environmental things, was not always available to me when I was communicating with someone else, and I was trying to find out how they were coping with what was going on in their life. It's quite different if it's the simplest thing. It's quite different if you type in something, "How are you doing?" and the other person types back, "Fine." What does that really mean? How different it would be if if it was a verbal thing where you said, "How are you doing?" "Fine." 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 See what I mean? And then you add the body language to that where you can actually see the other person, and the translation, the meaning increases manyfold just by what you can perceive when you're talking with each other. Um, Body language is the way you non-verbally communicate your feelings and your emotions. Usually, when you're engaged in a conversation with somebody else, you will make little small movements and gestures that will help convey the way you truly are feeling and enrich the message that you're sending. Maybe it's something as cocking your head to one side, putting your hands in your pockets, or crossing your arms. Nearly everything you do forms a part of your communication toolbox. Is someone being truthful? Is that person trying to gain your friendship? Are you acting in a trustworthy way? All of this and more can be determined by analyzing all the body language clues that we send out to each other. Why is body language important? Well, the way you employ body language can determine how people perceive you to be. Do you seem friendly? Do you seem powerful? Do you seem kind? And just about anything else. The important thing to remember is that our bodies send messages and convey certain attitudes and feelings. If you're generally more self-conscious, for example, you will gesture in ways that can be seen by the other person as somewhat ill at ease, somewhat uncomfortable, somewhat less confident. You can train yourself to be, perceived as more confident, sure enough, when you're aware and want to purvey a certain image to others with whom you're trying to converse. I think that's a lot because our brain actually gathers data from what we see, and sometimes our brains follow our bodies when we're trying to communicate. And when we come to realize that we're sending out negative body language cues, I think we can do something to work on sending out more positive ones as well. And that's very important when you're trying to be there for someone else or have someone else really understand the type of support you may be needing in any given situation. Focusing on body language can also help just general better communication and attune each of us to each other more strongly. Nonverbal communication is a way to better understand and interact with whatever the surroundings are in which we find ourselves. There was a psychologist who first wrote about this quite a few years ago named Albert Mehrabian, and he called it the 7-38-55 rule. And what this means very simply is that he concluded that words, written, whatever, 7% of the time convey feelings and attitudes, the words that are written down. Tone and voice, 38% of the time are conveying your feelings and your attitudes. But body language conveys your feelings and attitudes over half of the time, 55% of the time. So your body does talk. And that, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about Olivia Newton's John's song, Physical, where she has a line in there that says, "Let me hear your body talk." And Alison Krauss also has one line in a song that she recorded, which says, "You say it best when you say nothing at all." And this all has to do with nonverbal physical body language that is communicating very strongly a very specific message. Is probably in a way sometimes a little bit more honest than the actual words sometimes that are used. Anyway, according to Mehrabian's research, the way humans communicate helps them to convey their emotions. And as we all know, these emotions apply, whether it be in the workplace, in personal relationships, even voting behavior, among many other things. And you can tell a lot by how a person is acting as an addition and a enhancement to the written words that the person may have given, particularly in a survey. If you could just sit down and talk to that person who has answered yes, no to a certain survey, how much more helpful would it be than just to see the one-word response? It's also helpful in examining the context. While body language is helpful in understanding, you have to consider all the possibilities. A lot of people talk about, the way how you're postured when you're talking to somebody else. For example, if you're standing outside and you're talking with one of your friends, depending on what you were talking about, it might be interpreted, if you folded your arms, that you were striking a defensive pose. But if it's a cool evening, it just might mean you have your arms folded because you didn't bring your jacket out and you're cold. So you have to keep things in context. In the same way, you might be fidgeting with a ring, which could be interpreted as a sign that you're nervous. It also may be simply that your ring doesn't fit. I know I had a really favorite ring that after I had lost about 25 pounds, the ring just slipped and rolled on my finger, and I was always afraid that I was going to lose that ring. And I fidgeted with it all the time because I had not taken it off and taken it into a jeweler to get it resized. And that could have led to a misinterpretation, because I did fiddle with it a lot. In general, it's good to look at all body language movements as a whole rather than one specific action that might be made. This will help you determine whether certain movements are indicative of larger truths or whether they're just merely an anomaly reflecting something else that's not related to what's being said is going on. Aligning words with actions is another thing that you have to keep in mind. Especially when it comes with someone's verbal communication not lining up with the body language they're displaying. Sometimes a person's words may match up with their movements or facial expressions, and other times they may not. This is often the case when you get a sense that there's some kind of tension, some mistrust, or some confusion going on. You get those signals that the person may be saying to you, yes, I understand, but their facial expressions say, I am clueless here. I really don't know what you're talking about. And those help you know if you need to clarify or pursue the matter a little bit further. The ways we can communicate with nonverbal signals affect also how people see us, as well as others. It's possible to send confusing or negative signals without realizing it. And that's why it's important to keep your words aligned as closely as you possibly can with your actions. And to remember that other people, unintentionally even, may not be doing the same. For this week, I'm going to give you a challenge. I don't often do this, but I think it'll be sort of fun if you try it. I'd like for you, just as an exercise, I think most of us have a way that we could do even a video on our computer when the phone rings. I know my phone sits right beside my computer, and I could just click on my computer video, and I could tape my phone conversation so that I could see myself as I talk and see what you can pick out. Just, if you get a phone call from a friend and think about it, record maybe 5 or 10 minutes and then look at it afterward, because most of us, whether we realize it or not, are quite body language oriented when it comes to communication. And even if the other person cannot possibly see us, we're there just like I'm doing right now, hoping that you can see me, talking to you as if we were face to face in a true one-on-one, we're here together in the same room conversation. See what you see what you notice. See if the words are matching the gestures and the facial expressions of the person, and see what can you learn about yourself and how you communicate. I took a course once on phone calls, and one of the things that they said in the course that I found very revealing, and this is before we had the technology that made it easy to video record conversation. The instructor of the course said, let the other person hear you smile. And that really made me think about the tone of voice that you bring to a phone call. And I think we've all been there, have we not? You can pick up the phone and you can, hello, and ooh, back off. I don't think I want to talk to this person right now. She's not in a really good mood. That tends to be my tone of voice when I get a spam mail alert on my phone and I'm picking it up. I am not exactly neutral. I am sometimes just a little bit irritated by that call, and it comes through in the tone of your voice, right? So see what you can learn about yourself and your communication style to inform a discussion that we'll have next week on how we interpret these cues and what we can learn and how we can be more effective in getting the real messages we want to put across to each other out there in the clearest possible, most supportive and helpful way. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring this to a close, and you have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Bye for now.